Good afternoon, everybody, and a very good morning to you in Alaska time, live time in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are at Anchorage, the new scenery by Sim-Wings. You purchased it through Aerosoft. Jay, member for 3 months, silver tier. Hello to you, welcome. Brand new scenery. Purchased it when it was released, and this is the first time we're seeing it in this sort of really early morning, 4 AM local time. Twilight, I guess we can call it. Lots of manual flying today. Doc, you're correct there. It's going to be tricky. The commentator, good morning. Dylan, hello, buddy. Doc, hello to you. Matthew F, good morning. Jay, welcome. And Wesley, hello to you with some random lyrics for a song I have no idea. If you're tuning in for the first time, it's good to have you here. Please do hit the subscribe button and the like button as well throughout today's live stream, and all the links should be in the description down below. We would ordinarily be using the Alaska mesh from Orbex, but that includes a Juneau airport handmade scenery as well. Slight problem with Sim Update 9, it's broken that, and I've been unable to work out if it's actually fixed, so it's default scenery beyond here. But it should be fine. Becky, good afternoon. Shrewsbury, very nice. Spent a little while flying from RAF Cosford years ago, so very familiar with that part of the world. David A, good morning. Andy, good afternoon. John, hello, buddy. Here we go. Alaska Airlines is there. We're in the 737 today, the PMDG 737. And for the first time, I think, we're in the cargo version. Little bits to explore through the airport as we make our way towards the aircraft, and we could already see a few people on the ground as well as the woofer goes mad. Lost and found and ground transportation down there. It's very murky, Badger, and in fact the weather into both Sitka and Juneau is pretty bad. That. So you can purchase this on the Aerosoft store, that's the wall. Very nice. Sim-Wings, of course, the creators of Munich, or München, and a couple of other fantastic sceneries, including their most recent, I think, other than this, was Gran Canaria, wasn't it? Which we enjoyed recently as well. Back outside to the forecourt. So they've modelled the interior very nicely. It's a huge airport. They've actually also included the seaplane base, which we can't really see at the moment, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot of external buildings around the airfield that you can go and immerse yourself in. Cargo is done as well. Certainly very nice to have such a big airport on the in this part of the world. Very important cargo link as well between the Far East and the States. I mean, look at that, as that sun is starting to rise as well. Dylan, I'm parked Alpha 16, I think. Very difficult on the world map to work out where exactly I was. I thought it was a cargo stand, but it seems to be more of a passenger stand, to be honest. So we're going to do 2 sectors today. We're going to head out of Anchorage here to Juneau. Ah, David, interesting. I kind of wish we were using the mesh then, if that's the case. Look at that. Such a remarkable bit of night lighting and a nice footprint there. We're going to head off to Juneau and drop a load of cargo off there. And then we're going to head onwards on the Alaska 7005 service, dropping a load of mail off to Sitka, which is even smaller and even more difficult. There we go. So Doc said there was the real flight departing from a garage around here. So I've picked, well, as best as I can, but here we are in the Alaska Air cargo livery for the 737-700. Dan says the Alaska mesh is working fine for you. Damn it. I was asking over the last couple of days in Discord to see if anybody had tested it, and I had no response, so I thought I'd better not risk it for today. Now, for a bit of a test, I've actually loaded up with 100% cargo. there's the interior again. Hey, it looks cool, doesn't it? Next to that little Alaska Airlines cargo hangar, and that fiery sunrise is starting to come up. So we'll go through some of the setup for the 737. Now we're loading everything in. And we will then look to have a little look at the scenery again as the sun starts to rise. We were on local time here, so it's about 4 in the morning in Anchorage, I believe. Let's dive in. And we could probably do with getting the APU fired up as well. Yes, let's get your damper on. So having a little look at the top. That's all good. Your dampers on. Normals. Auto, normal. Crossfeeds off. Pumps and center are off. Aft. Fuel pump left is on for the APU, which is now firing up, and we've got the hydraulics on as well. Galleys on, and we want to make sure our window heat is on. Cruise today. Ooh, now there's a question. 350 for this first leg, I think. So let's set that in the top pressurization panel. There we go. And we'll get the bleed switched across in a second. Let's clear the master caution. So if we look at this then, main cargo doors open there on the left, that little warning light telling us there. So our route today initially starts Anchorage to Juneau. Alaska 7005, and we're going to depart runway 25 left on the Anchorage 9 departure, which is typical of a lot of big US airfields. And that's this. So we're going to fly runway heading effectively and then just go into vectors. None of which what we want. Maybe Noddle is part of the route there, who knows. But look at that for takeoff obstacles. Are there enough? Initial climb to 4,000. Runway 25 left and right, climb heading 254. So on the MCP on the right hand side, hopefully we can see both screens at the same time. We can sit this onto 254 like so. And no end is the next one. So if we look around here, we can't actually see no end on any of these. So we'll use the Anchorage VOR. And then once we get airborne towards 4,000, we'll do a direct to no end, which is there. We'll probably depart left up the river a little bit and then up towards no end. Then we're going to head all the way across the coast, direct to Cushy, and at Cushy we're then going to commit to most likely the RNAV visual runway 08 or the RNAV Victor runway 08. So coming in via Eef, Nimley, Ogemi for initial finals, Mene and Menai, then Mulry, then the autopilot will be off for an approach onto runway 08 if the weather doesn't change. But you can see there, if we zoom right in as much as I can on the charts, it's not actually going to bring us in line with the runway itself. So it's quite difficult, and there's a lot of very high terrain around this airfield, so it's going to be interesting. Nice long runway though, 2,700 meters, and frustratingly, if we had the scenery, we would have had these sequence flashes most likely, but we probably won't even have that, and that will therefore make life a little difficult for me. So that's why we've got vectors here in the flight plan. That's absolutely fine. We don't want to delete those yet. What we're going to do is leave them in position. We get to a suitable altitude, we'll then go no end, and we'll click it up to the top to do a direct to. Then departure arrivals into Pageant. We're going to do the RNAV Victor 08 via Eef. Interesting. But what that's done is it's told us to go ETH to Nimli. Sorry, instead of Nimli, going ETH to Chill to Gumli to Agemi to Mena. Which is rather strange. That's fine. I don't want to faff around with that too much. Anna Victor. Oh, SSR. Where's SSR? Oh. That's why we want to go in via Sisters Island. Read the map, Luke. There we go. SSR, Nimli, Agemi, Menai, Mulry. That'll do. Nice and easy. And what we can do is get rid of this box here. The route discontinuity. Job done. Right, Perf init page then. So we've done fuel, we've done payload. We're going to request our Perf init page to be completed now. Juneau. Babav, good morning to you. Dylan's saying, I can't wait to see their 777 and what she will look like. It's going to be lovely, isn't it? We can load that in. And there we go. In the reserves, what we can do here is look at our FinRes and alternate fuels. And that's saying we want 2.9 kilos, or 2.9 tons, sorry. So we'll execute that first, then we can amend the box. We can do that. And then we want to do 350 for our cruise. And then on the top right of your SimBrief flight plan on the OFP section, where you've actually got all of the text further down, you're going to see average wind 131 at 23. So let's add that in. And the transition altitude, we'll leave that plain and simple there. And the cost index, let's whack it up to 30. Why not? Happy days. M1 limits, what it's suggesting is on our takeoff calculations on the VAS airplane toolbox, 24k. Wow, it's actually suggesting leaving it on TO to get the most power out of the engines. Right, well let's click D rate of 22k, see what it comes up with. Not allowed due to tailwind. Okay, well that makes sense, that does make sense. So 24k it is, because it is a tailwind, so that's correct. And then we'll just stick, we'll go for the climb 1 profile today, why not? It's not our fuel. Flaps 5 for takeoff, and the centre of gravity 5.44. Well that's doing that, let's multitask. APU can go on bleed. There we go, maybe down a little bit like so. 1, 2, 3. And the runway wind at the moment, so the current METAR shows 120 at 3 knots, which is giving us a bit of a tailwind, and the runway is wet. Is it still raining, actually? It is. Yeah, we'll stick with wet. So, what it's done, because we've changed a few bits here, is basically removed our takeoff speeds. That's fine. All we've got to do is go back to the previous page, because it's recalculated everything based upon the information we've just amended on the other bit. And we can go ahead and just reselect those as required. And that is it. We are ready. So, FS actions, ground services. Let's release the ground power car. Let's release the pallet loader, which I think is that one. David, good afternoon, welcome. Oliver, good to hear. Thank you, buddy. Keep smashing that like button, folks. Almost 100 people watching already. This is fantastic. Great to have you here. Readability 5.
Anchorage ground, Osprey 27 Juliet Mike, radio check.
Readability 5. There we go. So the pallet loader is now going to start to move away. Off he goes with the lights as well, illuminating the fuselage there. Very cool. And then we can watch him drive off down there where he goes. There's a wonderful Osprey 737 over there. And then we can clear the stairs as well. So stairs 1 left release. Make sure the parking brake is set, and what we need to do is just work through the checklist here. Dylan, weird. I know VATSIM's vPilot's just had another update, so I'm not sure if it's that could be causing people some problems. What was I doing? Park brake set, standby. We've done all of those. Lights as required, RS to nav. We've done the tests. Altimeter needs to be set, so we're at inches of mercury here in the States, 2965. Fairly low pressure. That's matched. Transponder set, fueling loading, boarding complete, takeoff data set, cruise altitude, pressure panel set, and the landing pressure panel needs to be set as well. So at Juneau, it's airport elevation of 26, which is going to give us 50 up the top. MCP is set, we've got 4,000, but what we need to do is think about our takeoff speeds. 135, 145. I'm not going to use pushback in this instance, we're just going to start up and I'll swing her left. Yeah, why not? .45-4, altimeter's done, departure's been briefed. And the data's checked. Flight directors.
Ground, Alaska 7094, radio check.
Readability 5, how many?
Readability 5.
So the flight directors are on. Radio frequencies are set. What we need to do is set the Anchorage VOR, which is 11315. That's on the box, and that's just spun around on the standby instruments as well. Next.
Anchorage, Pax Alaska 7094, radio check. Readability 3.
Ground equipment's clear. We want the chocks away. FS actions, ground services, chocks removed. And it's time to fire her up. So we'll do 254 out the VOR1. Just to be good. Bumps on, anti-collision light on. Packs are off, ignition mode selector is set to both, and engine start switch number 2 to ground. Go, it's a fantastic livery, isn't it? You know what I have forgot? Volanta. So very quickly, I'm going to fire this up. And we're going to go engine fuel cut off switch engine 2 to run.
Pushing back from Bravo 4. Anchorage round, Osprey 232, pushing back from Charlie 7.
Love these run-up sounds.
Alaska 1123, pushing back onto taxiway Kilo.
There's a little bit more of a glimpse of the scenery, and look at this, actually I've just spotted in the background there. A couple of old school jets. How cool is that?
Anchorage traffic, Osprey 2472, pushing back from gate Bravo 8, facing south. Anchorage traffic.
There's the roof again. Obviously got an affliction for roofs. And if we go up a little now, as the sun's starting to rise, we can actually get a bit more of the scenery. There's the seaplane base, which is part of the actual pack, and there's a couple of statics over on the far side of the seaplane base and the Sim-Wings Anchorage as well. Hopefully you can see that, but look at that beautiful scenery around us here. Dylan, check your V-Pilot settings to make sure your speaker hasn't reset itself to a different value. Oh, hello, look at that. See, the sun comes up and you start to notice a lot more. So you've got that Alaska cargo rail freight system there as well. Look at that, remarkably cool bit of airport scenery. What is quite a spectacular part of the world, and one actually we haven't really investigated or explored all that much either, which is pretty bad of myself, I guess. All good. Engines 1 and 2 are stable, and we're going to now pop generators on. Leads, auto, isolation valve, auto, those go on. We'll put that onto Genron. Reset fans on auto. APU bleed off. APU off. Taxi lights on. And we want to make sure we've got controls full and free. That's the park brake. Happy days. Trim set. And engine instruments are checked as well. Let's get rid of that. Flaps are in transit, and we're going to arm LNAV and VNAV. In fact, we're going to arm heading mode first. Interesting. LNAV and heading select are both armed. We'll see what it does. Auto throttle armed, and taxi lights are on. Auto brake set RTO. Got a warning light, it's now extinguished. And away we go. So, get me taxi charts. Where are we? Alpha 16. Anchorage traffic Alaska 7005. 737 with a QNH 2965. Taxi to 4 Point Charlie, runway 25 left. Via Charlie, cross runway 25 right and Charlie. Anchorage traffic. Hopefully everybody heard that.
Anchorage traffic, Alaska, pushback from
Round we go. Look at those clouds.
Anchorage traffic, Osprey 232, taxiing to 25 left via Echo, Kilo and Charlie.
Border throttle's deactivated itself. Gonna keep an eye on that. On taxi lights. There she is. Could have picked a less tight space to taxi around. Dylan says, where do I set what speaker it uses? It's inside the vPilot settings, audio.
Anchorage traffic, Alaska 1123, taxiing via Kilo Charlie, cross runway 25 right to runway 25 left. Anchorage traffic.
In vPilot. That's all good. Trim set neutral. Lights, signs as required. There goes an Osprey zooming past. There is a Phoenix Osprey livery coming very soon by Tapsi. And I've done a little bit of painting on it myself as well, which hopefully you guys will love. In fact, he's just sent me. Oh, fantastic! Just sent me the final cabin renders. We're gonna have a Osprey Airways cabin interior with bulkheads for the Phoenix A320 livery. Very exciting. Very exciting indeed. All throttle's still armed. So where are we here? We're gonna cross in a second. We're following that Osprey. Very cool. By far the best aircraft available in MSFS right now. So we're going to cross here, runway 25 right, we're going to head to 25 left.
Anchorage traffic, Osprey 2472, taxiing to runway 25 left via
Pop our strobes on as well.
Kilo and Charlie, crossing runway 25 right. Anchorage traffic.
I mean, there's something about this aeroplane in this livery that looks remarkably cool. Brett, no, not for me. This is my absolute go-to pretty much all the time. Okay, no end is all the way back behind us. So it's going to be a departure followed by a left turn. Let's get terrain map on. Oh, you know what? We'll leave this on. Oh yeah, we got a bit of Alaska Airlines as well. A little of United Connect as well. Hopefully if I'm quick enough, which which I just about am. Grab a screenshot of that. God, the 737 looks tiny next to the A320, doesn't it? Now, I don't want to leave the others on the runway for too long, so let's get a move on. And refer back to the checklist for our pre-departure checks at the hold. So, fuel flow, reset rate, V-speeds, MCP, nav data and radios are all checked. Brett, well, I'm quite happy without it, but obviously the new PMDG EFB is going to be pretty incredible when they do release it by the sounds of it. So he's rolling. Let's start the lineup. So we've got post light strobe and steady. Taxi lights can go off, runway turn off lights on, landing lights on, transponder set TARA, it is. And we've done terrain map. Hit traffic. Runway confirm. 25 left. And we're going to be doing the Anchorage 9 departure as well. Ease up. Anchorage traffic Alaska 7005 is lining up runway 25 left. And that's out before takeoff checks completes. We use as much of the runway as we can. We have got a tailwind. Oh, look at that sunrise in the background. And those lights are amazing. What do you reckon, guys? Do you think we're ready? I think we are. Fantastic livery. So really we need about 2 minutes separation. Nighthawk says there's a massive bump on 25 left at Anchorage. Brilliant. Oh dear. I'm sure we'll hit it. I've got a habit for doing that.
Osprey 2472, crossing runway 25 right, Anchorage traffic.
So we need to give him 2 minutes. I think that's Nighthawk in front.
Anchorage traffic, Osprey 232, holding short of crossing hold short of crossing 25 right to allow company traffic.
Let's stick those on cont as well. Make sure I've not forgotten anything. They're all good. That's about 2 minutes. Anchorage traffic Alaska 7005 is taking off. Runway 25 left, Anchorage 9 departure. Anchorage traffic. Okay, let's set 40% N1. Brakes are off. Stick forwards for the nose wheel. Engine TCP is stable at 40. Toga.
Alaska 737, Anchorage traffic.
Oh, those sounds. Bumpy runway. Toga, remember, so this is the fastest departure we've ever done. Wow. Rotate. You're up. Whoa, look at that for a nose up attitude there. It's climbing like a homesick angel. Alrighty, so we are heading mode select. CMD-A engage. 4,000, let's continue the climb up.
Osprey between 232 crossing runway 25 right.
We'll go all the way to 35. Why not? 35 is set, and we're coming up to flaps 1 speed. So let's, in fact, let's just bring them all up now as well. Landing gear goes off. Auto brake off. Engine start, selector switches back to auto, and runway turn off lights off. Flaps retracting as appropriate, and we're going to check the cabin pressure in a sec. Go to heading select modes. Let's begin a left turn. To vector round towards our waypoint that we need. Look at that. Absolutely awesome. Look at that for the way back as well, over the left. In fact, that's the river that we want to head towards as well. So let's keep it coming around. There's the waypoint. Let's aim at it. Perfect. 2072 and flaps up no green.
Anchorage traffic, Alaska 1123.
Cabin's pressurising.
The target is zone 737.
Look at that, we're almost at 8,000 feet already. Absolutely incredible climb rate here. There's Anchorage down below. Here's a couple of the custom views I've set for the cargo version. Oh, that's bright. Oh yeah. So what we can do now is go to legs. We can do no end at the top, or a direct to, and onto LNAV mode instead. So now the LNAV and the VNAV are paired up and doing the work. And we're on climb profile 1, which is a really, really powerful climb. In the Alaska Air Cargo PMDG 737. Who's excited for the 600? Looks quite fun, eh? It looks pretty good. Nice to see that's coming along very well as well. And tomorrow I was going to be doing a London City to the Isle of Man, a request from somebody, but I've received the new MXI Thessaloniki scenery, which we're trying to now build into a route. So we're going to be in the Just Flight 146 tomorrow. We're going to be heading up across Greece for some island hops. Lots of cloud, over 10 now, so landing lights can go off too. Look at this. Love a sunrise in the sim. Always fantastic. So we're going to be at Juneau very quickly. It's annoying that we don't have the Alaska mesh because it's, well, I didn't add it in today with add-on linker due to the fact that a lot of people are reporting it broken, so I've taken it out. I've been away over the last 3 days, so I've not had a chance to test anything. A really nice little trip away in Devon. So I didn't want to risk having a big block of something at the end of the runway for our arrival, hence why we've taken it out. We'll do a turnaround at Juneau, and then we'll head further down to Sitka as well. Tapsi's, wow, I've got loads of screenshots here for the new Fenix A320 livery. That cabin looks amazing, and I've been able to paint a little bit of it myself.
Anchorage traffic, Alaska 1123 departing runway 25 left.
So the new Fenix A320 livery is going to have custom interior, including custom lighting, and a bulkhead that I've painted myself. So hopefully you guys are going to love that. Very excited. And Tapsy's done remarkable work fixing a mirror issue with the cabin interior that I sort of put together with the bulkhead, and he's painted the rest as well, the seat cushions and things. Tapsy's gone and done that for us too.
You'll line up away from runway 24 left behind departing traffic, Anchorage traffic.
And it's ready. So by the time we land in Juneau, it's very likely we're going to be well, very likely by the time we get to Juneau, the new Osprey Airways Fenix A320 will be ready. Dylan's fixed it, fantastic. What was it in the end, buddy? Look at that. $108 watching, welcome everybody. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Through transition, let's go standard pressure, and the standby instruments on the same as well. Top of climb coming up in about 50 miles. And then we've got a bit of straight and level for us to enjoy as well, with a direct towards Juneau over this beautiful Alaskan terrain. I mean, look at that. I come across slightly, you get the sunrise as well. Oh, look at those textures on the top of the cockpit display up here. Absolutely remarkable, isn't it? Stunning. Great aircraft. Nice part of the world to fly around with it as well. We've got an aircraft that's up here to the left, apparently. Or the right hand side, getting close. Who knows? We'll monitor that. I think that's probably, was it the Night Shepherd that departed first? We are climbing a bit quicker. Goes over the wing. Phantom, welcome, buddy.
Correction, 25 left on the Anchorage bound departure. Anchorage traffic.
Awesome, Doc. We might have to revisit this and do something similar again when Orbex fix the mesh in MSFS as well for Alaska, because this is pretty stunning. But I would imagine it would be even better with the mesh installed, especially with Juneau as well, Juneau Airport. Shaquille, hello to you. Matthew, hello. It's so cool Alaska's put a picture of one of our flight attendants on the tail. Aaron, so the Flabberwire livery is only compatible with Flabberwire A32NX for obvious reasons. We've got a... oh, look at those contrails behind us. We have got a Fenix A320 Osprey livery that is about to be released, so watch this space. Oh, there's a screenshot. We'll have that on the bank. Fred, howdy. Clayton, hello. I really don't know. Just because of all of the stuff being added into the sim at the moment, it's very difficult for me to fit in a 787 flight. Steve, hello buddy. It's really, really nice. Yeah, Sim-Wings have done a great job. As to be expected with them, of course. Certainly quite nice, yeah. For exploring this part of the world in conjunction with the Orbex mesh, when they do sort that out, this is going to be pretty spectacular. That in conjunction with the Sim-Wings Anchorage is going to be very, very nice indeed. And you do Jet 2, of course, in the 737. There is a Jet 2 Tenerife flight. Was it Tenerife? No, it was Manchester. Was it Manchester to Gran Canaria? Was it Manchester to Lanzarote? I forget now. Ooh, Steve, you know what? That's one thing I haven't looked out for, so I can't answer that one, buddy. I'm not sure. Good question. Something I might need to revisit. Night Shepherd, yeah, you've ordered the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight kit. You're not going to be disappointed, I don't think. It's a very, very nice throttle and yoke setup for sure. You're going to be joining us tomorrow too. Epic. There we go, get a bit of dash cam view. Andy, have you hit the bump as well? It may well be, if you've got the Alaska mesh installed, it could be a clash there perhaps. Matthew loves his Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight, same here. Yeah, if that is true, that's a bit of a downer on the scenery, isn't it? I did notice some of the spawning points that I was selecting seemed to be quite large, but they were all showing up as medium. GA apron medium. I mean, they have the ability to set some of them as cargo, so I would have liked to have seen some pop up as cargo apron, parking, heavy, medium, etc. Andy, good grief. Skipper, welcome. How are we doing on the climb? Almost a top climb. There's the C chord. Flight level 350. So now what we're doing is effectively just going direct to Cushy, which is the next waypoint. So we only had 2 legs really in this particular route. And then the rest are the approaches. What we need to think about is our descent forecasts. So the aeroplane can work out its top of descent as well. Oh, Steve, absolutely. Nighthawk, that was you that I could see the contrails for. Epic. Right, QNH is Juneau 2980. And I don't think it's going to let me put it in as that. Of course it's not. So what's that going to be in old money or in new money? Select input unit of pressure. We want inches of mercury. 2980, which is 1009 hectopascal. That'll do us. And winds at the moment 1108 knots. We're expecting runway 08, and planned landing weight is about 56.3 tons. So if I calculate that, 56.3 in the gross weight at the top here, we can see our V speeds flat 30 at 131 knots. So what we can do if we want to is just go ahead and select that. Even though it would be a lot closer in reality, but it'd give us our refs at the bottom. And the fixes, let's have a little look here. Let's clear the Anchorage charts, we don't need those. RNAV, Victor, runway 08. So we're coming in via Sisters Island 1140. We're going to tune that in a second into the VORs. We're going to head into Nimley, then Ogemi, NI, Mulry. And then we've got that runway 08. It's frustrating it's just a default scenery, because I'd imagine this is quite nice with a complete scenery added in. What else do we have? Got an LDA as well. Interesting. There's an NDB there. Cochran Island 212. So I'm going to tune that as well, just for something else to help us. And I might pin that chart just for extra reference too. And runway 08, it's going to look like that on approach. So the runway uses a right-hand traffic pattern, 3.5 degree PAPIs or VATSIs, offset 13 degrees right of centre line, not visible on the runway centre line, and it's unusable beyond 6 degrees left. Seaplane landing area parallels to the south, the immediate south, and sand on the runway used to enhance friction may not meet FAA spec. So that's not far off actually what our approach is going to look like on the way in actually. We're going to be coming in on this very offset approach here before flying this kind of tight right turn onto the runway for final approach instead. Information about weather and the general overview of the airfield there too. So it looks rather nice. But it also means for our departure out of here to go down to Sitka, it's going to be quite tricky for us as well. See, I don't use the inches of mercury too often. I always just convert to hectopascals, being somebody from the UK, I guess. Find it more comfortable to use fixed rings. That's why I was on the charts as well. Cosmo, hello mate. Ogemi is 13 miles, Menai is about 10, 2,700, so we'll select let's have a think about this, PAJN. I'm going to put 11 miles just for an extra mile of the safety blanket there, and I'll do 6 as well. Now runway 08 is 085 degrees. I might do a little fix through the centre as well. You know what, we'll keep it visual. We'll keep it a bit trickier as well, why not? So we'll stick with those. Legs page, check for any discontinuity, 08 mugs, chill and hold for the missed approach. And then down here, 114, decimal 0 for Sisters Island. Put that into VOR2 actually, because then we want 391. Which is EF or Elephant NDB. And then I'm going to tune in 212 CGL, just because. Two on two. 140. There's, I think, Nighthawk and his contrails there. Got somebody else on us as well. Somewhere. Contrails are cutting through the sky. Quite cool there. Badger's saying, is this approach offset? It certainly is, yeah. Probably about 8 degrees. No, sorry, stand corrected. It's offset by 14.06 degrees. It's a huge offset approach. Absolutely mega. Doc, can you try to input the LDA frequency? I'm curious to what it looks like. How do you want me to input it though? Do you want me to input it into here? Or do you want me to just add it into the frequencies at the bottom here? 109. 9. Alright, well they're in the pedestal then. What do you want me to demonstrate with the LDA? Do you want to see how it works / displays? Is there something specific you'd like to see? This livery, by the way, is included in the PMDG Operations Centre, for those of you who aren't sure. So this is one of the PMDG's included paints on the aeroplane. Leighton, I can't do it tomorrow, buddy. There is a long list of things I'm still trying to get through. It's constantly being added to as well. I did ask though, just remind me what it was, because I'm not sure. I did a Manchester to Gran Canaria recently. Is it Manchester to Gran Canaria I did? As David was saying, we can expect snow on the runway, so we can put on our, let's see, we'll do contaminated. It's suggesting we're going to need flap 30 and auto brake 3 to stop with about 596 metres left. Ah, collect me at Birmingham to Gran Canaria. Yeah, Andy, it's a pretty spectacular place in the world to go and fly, isn't it? Dock, yes. Yes, it still should look like... Well, it should look similar to that of the Special Lock DME approach into Innsbruck, I guess, really. A couple of people asking what performance calculator I'm using. It's the VAS Airplane Toolbox, which, ironically enough, is via the Explained forums, I believe. Skillboy, hello, buddy. Not a real pilot, certainly on the airliners. The only thing I fly in real life at the moment is the Piper Warrior, the PA-28. How are we doing here? There's one thing actually we should probably consider before we get too close to the airfield. Sisters Island, Ogemi 3,400, Menai at 2,700. So let's just check this. That's pretty quick still. At Ogemi, we're going to probably be, we're going to want about 180 knots, I think, at Ogemi. 180 at 3,400. Like so. It's showing nimbly at or above 3,400 here, which is fine. What it's done is it's shaved a couple of thousand off the rest. So Sisters Island at 6,766 feet, 240 knots. Nimbly, ooh, speed 220 maybe. And then its final approach speeds. Happy days. So what I've done there is I've tinkered a little bit just to neaten it all up. There's top of descent coming up in about 200 nautical miles. So we've got a fair way to go. Clayton, your flight, how long on your flight? Ooh, oh, funnily enough, it should be on the top of your screen, but it's not because Fly Live Studio overlay has broken once again. I've got to find another one of these. Any suggestions for a new stream overlay are welcome. Fly Live is getting rather tiresome now. Breaking all the time. PAJN ASA 7005. 45 minutes. And then we're going to do a turnaround, and it's a short 20-30 minute hop down to Sitka at the end as well. Very tricky departure actually through the valley out of Juneau on 08. That would be quite fun. David, is it looking pretty cramped? Okay, yeah, wow. Nighthawk's alongside. John, Turbo Stig, David, Andy. Wow, yeah, we're all pretty much like neck and neck, aren't we, almost? All the screenshots will go into Volanta as well. Yeah, I think most likely we're going to need to think about some sort of holding. Cosmo Sim Toolkit has a free overlay. Yeah, so I use Volanta, which makes it a bit difficult because I don't want to have to use Sim Toolkit Pro instead of Volanta. Unless it is significantly improved these days, I'm not sure. It could be very different. I've used it in about 1.5 years now, Sim Toolkit Pro. Volanta is supposed to be bringing out a stream overlay, which is what I'm holding out for. Keep clicking that like button, folks, as well while you're here. Night Shepherd, he certainly did. He was knackered by the end of that third day. Our little dog was so tired. He slept all the way back, the 3.5 hours in the car, almost 4 hours in the car. He slept all the way. I didn't need to stop for a leg stretch or anything. I just hit the motorway back. Did 600 miles almost in about 600 miles in 3 days, which is an insane amount of driving. Very tired from that, but it was a nice little trip away, certainly. Skillboy, ever tried the Luke Air tool? Certainly have. That's what I use for all of my cabin announcements when we're flying passenger variants on the Sim. Phantom German Shepherd. Big fluffy softy, really. Weird textures down there. One thing I wish they sorted out was the drone camera, because I can't stop it rotating. John says my VNAV won't arm. Any suggestions? Was it armed on departure? Andy, absolutely. Have you got, is your yaw damper on, John? Mind you, potentially none of your autopilot would work at all then if that was the case. So make sure that guard's closed. Dear me. Not sure what else to suggest. Let's get some of these wing views, shall we? What have we got here? There we go. John, check Alt Target. So in the Perf init page, when we were going through that, where is it? Init ref. Not sure it's going to show it here now. There we go. So you need to make sure all of this is complete. For your cruise, it's saying chuck Alt Target. It's because if you've leveled off at 350, for example, it may well be that you've left this figure at the very top right defaulted to flight level 390, so do check that. And then that should have you sorted out. Hopefully, if all the rest of it is complete, you've got your zero fuel rate and things all done. And beyond that, I can't think what else. Skillboy, no, I wish. You guys come to watch the content, you don't need to see my ugly mug. Someone was asking where I fly in real life. Denham, Aerodrome, Echo Golf, Lima Delta. Mr. Moss, in fact. 20,000 subscribers, by the way, when we do hit that target, hopefully soon. We are already arranging bits of things for giveaways. Contrail have already reached out to sponsor a giveaway with a total of €50 worth of gift cards, gift vouchers to use via the Contrail web shop. So we're going to create basically multiple orders of gift cards. So it'll be a couple of €5, a couple of €10, and so on and so forth to get up to that value. I'm also going to put some funds together to purchase somebody a PMDG 737 as well. So that's going to be the main prize for everybody. And if they've already got the PMDG 737, I'll think of something else to get instead, for example. But yeah, the main prize is going to be the PMDG 737, which I'll purchase for somebody with my own funds. Contrail have reached out to do to offer the gift cards for a giveaway as well, and we're working on a few other bits too. So watch this space, hoping to have a nice little giveaway at 20,000 subscribers, of course, to say thanks to you all. Dylan, no worries. It's good to have you fly along. I think it's been quite a while, hasn't it? Night Shepherd, no worries, buddy. Tomorrow's Greek Island hops in the 146 will be very fun indeed. There's 3 of us here, very bunched up. Get quite interesting. On the charts then, there's no holds either on this approach. So there's a hold for everybody doing the LDAX approach. Dylan, of course, that's always the case. What I will be doing is configuring for the next leg as well, so I'll be trying to balance the two. Oh, Jeff, yeah. Let me think about that one a second. Might throw in a couple of Osprey Airways merchandise type things as well. And yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah. I fly sim pilot, so a blend of high and ultra, but mostly high as a bit of an average really. And I've got my sim capped to 35, or 30. Yeah, I've got my sim capped at 35 frames per second as well. I'll go too crazy with the giveaway with my own funds. I actually agreed to buy another house, so we're selling the one we're in at the moment, of course, but we are absolutely maxed out, overstretched in fact almost, with what we can offer today. With the house, I'm reading .com board's memo there, good grief. Yeah, so we're kind of stretched out with what we can afford with the new house that we're trying to buy. Is, in fairness, probably a little bit beyond our budget, so we have to sell a few things to try and make the money work, but either way, it's the house we want. So I can't go too crazy with the giveaway. Thankfully, folks like Contrail are reaching out to sponsor it with a couple of gift cards that they're sorting out themselves, which is really nice. Doc says, let's finish this day in Seattle, shall we? What would be the flight time from Sitka to there, though? That's the only thing, because an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours or so for stream time. So I've got to prep tomorrow's stream as well, of course. Ooh, there's a TCAS alert that's now coloured in. Oh yes, we're getting quite close, aren't we? Mr. Moss, very squeaky bum time. Heathrow are very anti-denim. Circuit height is 1,000 feet QNH, about 750 feet above ground level, and what that does is it gives us about 100 or 200 feet of buffer should we overgo, get a bit too ambitious with the initial climb into the circuit before we infringe in Heathrow airspace. But the second we do, even if a sudden updraft pushes the aeroplane up 100 foot or so, the second we infringe, they're on the phone complaining. But as you're saying, Denham is underneath the Heathrow CTR, so it's really, really tricky. The second we go out of the Heathrow CTR, we're then underneath London Luton's airspace, which comes down to about 3,000 feet. So we can't really climb up that much anyway. So we end up spending a little while at 1,000 feet, and we climb up to about 2,000, and then when we get right out towards the Chilterns, we can then climb up to 3,000 feet, which is crazy. So it's really tricky trying to work out all your different step climbs on the departure out of Denham. Similarly, for people flying in, it can be quite tricky with a very, very unique circuit pattern as well, and entry and exit routes. Nighthawk just had an emergency descent due to conflict with an aircraft. It's not me, is it? No, there's somebody level there. It is, it's you. That'd be me who's conflicting with you then. You're over here somewhere, really close. That's you. Oh my days, look how close we are. Badger, awesome. Yeah, like yourself, I'm really stretched financially at the moment with, I mean, I'm still trying to fly as well, but I've not flown in 5 weeks at Denham, just because of the way, how expensive it's becoming. Rudin, they certainly are. Let's go around the wing fence here. Oh. Oops. Wait, let it settle, get the wing away. There we go, look at that for a screenshot, folks. How about that? This is where my TCAS is going to go crazy. Well, I'm max 7.7 at the moment, so Nighthawk, if you do Mach decimal 80, that should get you all the way to top descent. That should give us a nice bit of separation. We've got 80 miles to go to try and split ourselves up a bit. Yeah, the commentator, so give you an example, my house. I've had to set, because I'm buying another new build, it's the only thing I can get because everything else goes so quickly. And for such a ridiculous price too. I've had to sell my house back in February, March, so it's sold subject to contract. But the value of it has gone up £20,000 in that time, but I can't ask the buyers to bump up that amount because they've already agreed to pay what they've already agreed, which is quite one frustrating element to this. The second frustrating element is the fact that our builders who are building the new house, Bloor Homes, they are initially one of the first few houses of the type we're trying to buy was 450,000, but the one we are actually the one we've actually accepted is now is £45,000 more expensive than the earlier one. Which is yeah, a killer. So yeah, 492,500 is our house. It's just going to be crazy money for us. That's Nighthawk. He's gone right in front of us. Hopefully his TARA is going absolutely crazy because all I can see is him going up and down. Look at that, right up his chuff. Yeah, houses at the moment are really difficult to try and purchase. It's a real shame. But we can only make it work. We're potentially thinking about cancelling our trip to Tokyo in September, October, not least because we don't know if Japan will be open to tourism, but more so because we don't actually know if we're going to be able to afford that plus a house move, which would be a bit of a shame. Yeah, Badger, that's insane. So I've managed to scrimp together, including the equity in our house, quite a bit of money. Certainly enough to pay for what we're trying to buy with our salaries combined as well, but it's 25 grand more than we should have been paying because they've dragged their feet. So we've then had to find that additional money, which is a bit of a shame. Goodness grief, he's very close, isn't he? Commentator, yes. Everything's stupid money around Aylesbury, Amersham, Princess Risborough, all that part of the world is just stupid money. And like Badger's saying, the second a house goes on for sale, it's already sold. The estate agents have already done a deal with somebody off the books, off the records, and what they then do is they just bid up on the price. So the whole thing is just a disgrace at the moment. It's really difficult to buy a house, which is why we've been pushed into getting another new build. Nighthawk, what's your MAC number? Are you able to do MAC decimal 80? Yeah, Cosmo, it's just a really difficult environment to try and get a house in at the moment. Ah, John. Awesome. Glad you've got it sorted. Jeff saying house prices in Austin, Texas in the States just as crazy as well. It's a shame because you work really hard to try and put a pot of cash together to afford another house, and then you can't afford it because it's just gone up so much in price. Andy, hello, or saying hello, I don't know why. I hold at Linz for the LDAX, that would be a left turn 251 degrees. Let me have a little look, mate. LDAX ray. Yes, it's an inbound course of 251, and then it's a left turn. Oh, sorry, ignore that. It's an inbound of 071 with a left turn for an outbound of 251. If you're in the 737, what that would look at, what would that look? I'll put my teeth in. You can tell I'm tired after all this this really busy couple of days away on the break. Inbound course for you, Andy, would be 071/L, and then the quad radial to /251, and it should then change quad to east, and then set your target altitudes and stuff like that. Make sure your leg time is shown as 1 minute. And if it asks about hold speed, I'd probably set something like 180 /. Nighthawk, Max 78. If you could try and do Mach 80, we might be able to space out a little bit. Unless, yeah, it's going to get quite cramped, isn't it? Andy's in the flabber. No worries, buddy. Hopefully that sort of helps anyway, because it should be a little similar at least. 149 miles to Cushy. 80 miles to top of descent. Have I got anyone behind me? Yeah, see, that's the problem. So I can't really slow down without John getting stuck behind myself. Yeah. Yeah, Nighthawk, fly as fast as you can in that case. Andy lives near Bristol. Drove past that on my way to Devon the other day. Badger wants to go to Scotland or Cumbria. Beautiful parts of the world. Certainly a lot cheaper as well. Prudent, good grief. In the US, you can list your house for 100k more than it's worth, and you would still get a bidding more. It's crazy. I don't even know where this money's come from for people, but it's similar in the UK. A house that is genuinely worth, for example, 400 grand, that needs a load of work doing to it, is just being listed greedily at 450, and then people are turning up going, "We'll give you 475." It's just, I'd never thought I'd ever experience anything like it for the housing market, but it is just insane. Nighthawk, no worries, buddy. I'll try and monitor things, and I might, if need be, I might do a bit of self-vectoring of things as well. Here comes the ADF. So look at that. It's just catching now. So what it's doing is it's working itself out, and it's now picking up EF, that NDB that we've tuned. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic. What it's doing is it's trying to pick up exactly where it is, as we're right on the outside range of it. That'll settle down at some point soon. Okay, well, we're coming up to top of descent. We're getting quite close to Nighthawk, so we'll go down to I don't know, Mach decimal 76 for now. We need to go to our checklist. We're going to look at that descent. So arrival and weather data, we need to make sure we've got that obtained. So it's going to be .METAR PAJN for Juneau, and it's currently showing 080 at 6 knots, 10 statute miles of visibility, a few clouds at 3,000. Broken at 5,000, broken at 9,500. Temperatures plus 12 degrees, dew point plus 7, altimeters 2978. The automatic report. So I'll put that in the live chat for you guys. And there's the ADF now. It's fixed onto the NDB quite nicely, the little blue arrow. Air Capital Aviator, new subscriber here. Fantastic to hear. Welcome on board. It's great to have you with us. We're out today as well. Cesar, Mateo, and Private Pin. Welcome on board, folks. Thanks for subscribing as well. Right. That's done. Descent targets are done. Top of descent at 53 nautical miles. And we need to know the minimums. So where's Navigraph with the charts? RNAV Victor 08, and it's going to be LNAV only RNAV approach. Ooh, now that's interesting. The RNAV Victor 08 is not certified for Category C aircraft. It's showing approach NA, or minimums, sorry, see, straight in landing, LNAV. Oh, it's RVR. It's only RVR. Do we risk it? You know what, let's just do it anyway. In the flight sim, we can do what we want. Okay, well, MDA then is going to be 1880. Why not? Let's just keep it difficult for ourselves to see how it can manage on an approach that's not suitable for the aeroplane necessarily. 1880. Scroll the barrow up. I like a challenge. We could do the LDA, but that's more precise, and I like tricky things. $18.80 on the barrow, and VREF's flat 3131, and we want the QNH or the altimeter set 2978 as well. 2978. That's set in the box. Let's bring this in. Rotate that. back to the checklist. So landing altitude to check, that is set 50, and radio set. So 1228 for Unicom, 1099 for the LDA, should we have to go to that, and it's going to be 114. The active ADF currently is 3901, which is ETH. We'll flick that across to the one that's inbound towards the actual runway of the airfield as well as we get a bit closer, just for a visual reference to assist us. And the approach is briefed, so we're going to be Agemi at 3,400 with then a step descent down to 2,700 at Menai, followed by a 3.8 or 3.08 degree glide or descent angle down towards Mulry, which is our missed approach point. So if we do go around, it's going to be a left turn by Mulry, or at Mulry, a climbing left turn to 9,000 feet direct mugs, and on track 281 to chill and hold, continue climb in hold to 9,000 feet. That's a hello, mate. Yeah, so performance for me at Brussels is a lot better than that at Inisines Heathrow. Quite a bit better, actually, I have to say. Right, let's just go back to the checklist. Ultimate minimum set, approach brief, auto brake set as required. So the calculator has told us we need 3. We're expecting the runway to be contaminated in snow. Looking around here, who knows? Find out when we get there. Need to change this collar across. And it's going to be wing and engine anti-ice as required as we make our way down as well. So, top of descent in 20. Let's reset the NCP altitude. We're going to go down to legs 3-4. In fact, we'll set 2-7. Why not? We'll do a continuous descent all the way down. Like so. Make sure we've got VNAV and LNAV arms. 2,700 on the MCP is set. So all we've got to do now is cross our top of descent marker and down we go. Golf Alpha Tango Victor Lima dropping a tip, £5. That's really generous of you, thank you very much. Dropping a tip there, Golf Alpha Tango Victor Lima, a couple of minutes ago, so apologies if I've missed it. I didn't hear the ding go off. Fly 45, welcome. And Big Jacko's Gaming, hello to you as well. Loving the Alaska livery, it's pretty cool, isn't it? There's the air cargo at the back. Dive in. Top of descent is coming up. I've never flown into here before. Obviously, if we were using the Orbex scenery, if Sim Update 9 hadn't affected it quite significantly, we would have a beautiful airport at Juneau to enjoy, but we don't have that, sadly, so we're just going to have to make do. I'm going to come off speed intervention mode here to let the aeroplane figure itself out on the descent on the VNAV path. Oh, can you guess the airport taps, he says, and he sent me 2 pictures of the Osprey livery and the air coming out of the Airbus paint shop. Looks like it's ready. It'll be getting updated very soon, uploaded very soon to flightsim.to for everybody to download. It will be put on the website as well. Rightio. Top of descent is now. Down we go. VNAV paths active. And throttles retard. Big Jackers Gaming, are you going to get the 737-600? I hope so. I'm hoping I might get the ability once again to run a few previews for PMDG with it on the YouTube side of things. But watch this space. Still got, I mean, it's only just sort of gone into beta properly now, so we've got a few weeks yet to wait before I think they would consider anything like that. .267. Cool. Our next hop is going to go down to Sitka, and it's just a couple of miles down the road, if you like, and we're going to top out a cruise of 16,000 feet for the second leg, so it's going to be really, really snappy indeed. So it's going to be departing 08, direct Rodman, direct Sitka VOR, and then direct into runway 29. Wowzers. This is going to be tough. 55-minute total block for the second leg, apparently, according to SimBrief. Big Jackers Gaming watched a tutorial video on the CRJ startup. Helped me start the bird from cold and dark last night. Fantastic. That's really good to hear. That's the terrain overlay, Dylan. Not weather. Nacho, hello to you. VNAV paths looking good still. We're still on profile for this. We might need to consider things like inhibiting the terrain warning, terrain inhibit, when we get a bit closer to Juneau. It depends. I think it's quite an awkward position, so in the sim you're going to have to look all the way around here, open the flap, move the view a little bit and all that sort of stuff, so Doc's amended the routes. Good grief. Oh, just direct Rodman. Is that literally it? Unbelievable. Big Jackers Gaming, welcome. Thanks for joining the channel as a bronze frequent flyer. It's good to have you here with us. Thanks for choosing to support with the membership. Much appreciated. Airtime of 28 minutes for this second leg. Juneau. Nacho, apparently. I always get it wrong though. Oh, the Phoenix Osprey Airways A320 is being uploaded to Flight Sim as we speak. Very exciting. Let's do a quick recall of the master caution, master warnings. Superbly exciting, very exciting. Where's Nighthawk? He's there, apparently. Interesting. Who's in front of us? That's Badger. So I've got John and Turbo Stick behind. Problem is, if one of us does a missed approach here, it's gonna absolutely cock it up for everybody behind us as well. No pressure. Matthew, absolutely. Go and explore the cabin. I've created the bulkhead with the assistance of Tapsi sorting out the Osprey Airways mirror issue that confused me. But I've created like a nice pattern on the bulkhead as well, which hopefully you're going to really enjoy. Tapsi's also created seat cushion designs and a custom galley area, as well as some custom lighting too. Thanks, Jacko, very kind of you. Lutch, how do you put the aircraft into cold and dark? This one, you go into your PMDG setup here, and you go to startup state, click it, and it will give you lots of options. Click cold and dark, and then that's it. We are so bunched up. Nacho, no, so, well, I do. I have the Orbex NA mesh for Alaska, which includes the Juneau scenery, but Sim Update 9 has completely wrecked the mesh, and that they've only updated the New Zealand mesh so far, which is a bit of a shame. So I don't have the Payware Juneau scenery installed today, because I didn't want there to be big problems with the mesh affecting how the airport looked effectively, so we've removed it. That sounds like you've got a depressurization failure, Dylan, so you've got to make sure that's on auto. Make sure that's set to your thing. You need to make sure your engine bleeds are on, and you've got your Pax on auto, isolation valve on auto, and your recirc fan on auto, although it is in op, so that doesn't matter what that one's on really. Check the top here as well, pop passenger cabin. But if not, then you need to go to manual, and you need to close the valve to try and repressurize the aircraft manually instead, and descend to 10. Low transition, let's go to local pressure now. Look at that, we're getting in. Juneau traffic, Alaska 7005, Boeing 737-700 inbound, 18 track miles west of Cushy, inbound for the RNAV Victor runway 08 approach, Juneau traffic. Ryan, good afternoon, how are you? Hope you're well. Looks like we're going to be going into some really thick cloud here, so we could be going into some IMC. Nacho says, in terms of learning curve, how does this compare to the Phoenix A320? I've only flown smaller aircraft and the A320 really. Really considering buying the PMDG 737. So, there's a huge learning curve really. I mean, it's a whole new aircraft type to learn as well, don't forget. So the Airbus is very much takeoff, autopilot on, managed modes, throttle in the climb gate, done. Everything else will be managed for you pretty much, except for flaps and spoilers. This isn't like that at all. You've got to set the pressurization manually. You've got a lot of stuff up here to manage throughout the flight, as well as down here too. ILSs have to be manually tuned into both nav boxes with the courses set here in the box as well to make sure it flies the ILS properly, or it won't do it at all. There's a lot to it. It's a very complex aircraft, but it is by far my favourite, and I find it incredibly immersive to learn as well. But to help people start from zero, I've done a tutorial series, Nacho, a couple of episodes which will take you through a demonstration flight from A to B, from cold and dark all the way through to shutdown, and I've also created a checklist which you can download for free. From our website, britishavgeek.com. And I've also put it onto flightsim.to for people to download there as well. But that's the checklist. 2 pages of basically summarised checks. So if you are using the tutorials that I've created and you're sort of getting confident with it, then you can download the checklist as well, and you can basically work through the flow of things. Thank you to everybody who's hit likes so far. 70 likes, incredible. We're now well into our descent into Juneau. First glimpse down below, icy landscape. Get rid of the music. We're at 10 now. So, what have we got here? Just watch this VNAV path, because we're going to start to decelerate. The VNAV is just so nice on this. What's the next speed target? It's going for 220, isn't it? I think 240. Yeah, 240. It is lovely. Landing lights on, runway turn-off lights on. Let's see, what do we got here? We're going into cloud. We are a bit, so let's get some wing and engine anti-ice on. Check probe heats are on and window heat is on as well. What else have we got here? That's all looking good. Still got 3.7 tons of fuel. Into IMC. So I'm going to try and do whoever's behind me a favour, get off very quickly in the runway, off the runway. Yes. Pea soup. Our favourites. We've got the landing rate monitor fired up as well, so you guys are going to see our touchdown rating when we do get on the grounds. And back to the checklist. Altimeter is on the local, landing lights on, runway turn-off lights on, seatbelt signs, cabin lights as required, and confirm ATIS and approach done. Nav course and frequency check. We're at Seven Sisters. Let's flick across to the new one so we can track ADF1 CGL, and speeds are in limits. Well, they will be soon. We will extend flaps probably quite quickly through this second phase of the RNAV approach. We're going to be down in no time. 10 miles, 10, 15 track miles. 15 to 20 to go. Brian, on final approach, but if you've got auto ignition selected in the PMDG settings and you have auto instead of off, then you don't need to flick it across to cont. Although some say that you do. Gareth, hello buddy. There's somebody on final there, I think. Oh, now look at that. Looks like we're coming through the cloud bottom. Cloud base. Set 071 on the heading bug, I think, just for now. See what happens. Not far to go now at all, folks. If you haven't yet done so, do click subscribe and click the like button as well. Oh, look at that. Now, of course, if we had the mesh as well from Orbex, if it was working with Sim Update 9, it would be pretty stunning to fly into this with the handcrafted airport. We lack both of those due to the issues with the sim. It's a bit of flight to 10. Let's go down to 180. Speed brake armed. We're going to check auto brake set 3, that's RTO, and we're coming up to flaps up in a second. Just deploy the spoilers here. Speed's good. Lap 5. Right, no worries. Then yeah, just basically at any point around here, you could do it to save you a job. I've got one ahead, 500 above, so they're in the hold. Juneau traffic, Alaska 7005 turning final RNAV Victor, runway 08 to Juneau traffic. Index approach. Lap 31.31, good. So actually our estimation worked out quite nicely as well. So there goes my pen, I've thrown it across the room. +5, 136. Are they flying the approach? Don't know who that is. I assume they're flying the approach. Alaska 7005 is number 2 and reducing to 160 knots. Question is this going to work? Let's find out. Foxtrot. So hopefully they vacate very quickly. But we're gonna have to slow down even more, I think. Here, what have we got spacing wise? 2 miles. There's the airport.
Osprey 26 7 Juliet Mike, so do you want Oscar 2472 to just not hold and just go straight in? I think I'm now in front.
Put them onto that. Go gear down.
Okay, no drivers, I'll just go straight in and I won't hold it.
Lap 15. Set 9,000 on the MCP for the missed approach.
2500.
136. Alaska 7005 is 9 miles from touchdown number 2, reduced to final approach speed. We've got 1 in front at 2 miles in front. Lap 30. How's that for an approach, folks? Look at that for an offset as well. Cancel both of those. My throttles as well. Read the charts. Mulry 070.
2500.
So the dash line there is the threshold extending out for us. It's a nice visual reference to use. Look at this for an approach, folks, though. Absolutely magnificent. And if I wasn't having to hand fly this, I would be looking from a distance. How's that for VNAV? That's looking quite nice, actually. Let's just bring the throttle down a bit. We let her stabilise. Let's see. Oh, this is risky because I'm hand flying this as well. I'll spend too long outside.
Minimums.
Okay, well we're stable, we can see the runway, gear down's locked, and we're flap 30 configured, and we will continue. We're below minimums now. Got our missed approach data set, and we are hand flying it, so if we need to execute go around, it's down to us to execute this as well. I need to just continue out to Mulry a little bit here. Still got 2.5 miles in front of the aeroplane in front. I don't know who that is. It's LNAV only. Final approach, that's why. Too much to do for one person sometimes. There we go. Recycled the flight directors. Passing Mulry.
1000.
Check. East Coast Canadian, it is default scenery sadly, just because of the Orbex Alaska mesh being so broken. 790, actually not far at all on this profile. Looking quite nice. A little bit of power.
Terrain.
We're going to get a lot of that.
Terrain. Pull up. Terrain. Pull up.
Let's go on terrain inhibit mode.
400. 300.
Juneau traffic, Alaska 7005, very short final number 2. We're going to land after visual with the one on the runway.
Juneau traffic, Osprey 2472 is going to enter the hold at the Sitka
Oh.
Island due to extended flight.
This would be even better with the actual Orbex scenery, wouldn't it?
Juneau traffic.
Oh, look at that, he's vacated as well. Beautiful. Ooh, bit of a bump.
50. 30. 20. 10.
Yeah, buddy. And reverse green. Get a bit of weight on the nose wheel. 288 foot per minute. 1.01 G. Love it. That, whoever that was in front as well, was absolutely perfect. Our separation to the second. So good. We'll try and just vacate here if we can with a bit of manual brakes. Juneau, traffic Alaska 7005 is vacating at Echo to the gates. How cool was that approach? Gotta find the stance. Oh, we've got to go left. Love approaches like that. Let's reset that so we've got use of it in the next section of the flight. And we're going to go flaps up. Absolutely, Doc. Loved it. Hubs on APU start and that onto strobe and steady to just steady. Pop them back over to auto as well. Duffman, yeah. Well, apparently it is, which is why I've uninstalled it for today. Doc, God, I've not looked at the references, not least because I'll probably get it wrong, but I'll have a look. I'll have a look, see what we can do. Now, where shall we park? Right, so I know we're cargo. And what I'm also conscious of is capturing people that are flying in. You can see the taxi line there actually, let's follow that. I'll take a 6. Get the prayers out for Andy, he's on the way in. The next approach to Sitka's a visual approach with visual landmark. Brilliant. So the landmark we won't have. Don't have anything here either, to be fair, to assist us, but let's plonker here, shall we? There we go. Bar brakes set, taxi lights off. Make sure we put the APU gens on. We just need to leave it a minute or so for the aircraft. Let's get rid of terrain as well. Lovely jubbly. 1 and 2. Anti-coal Menu, FS actions, ground services. Set. Now I just want the fuel truck, which is him. That page there, lovely stuff. So the runway is a 14-15 degree offset approach, which brings you in that way over that hill. You then sweep in past the hill for a final approach, which is a really, really cool approach actually. So this view here is looking out onto the approach path that we've just flown off in the distance. And it shows you
traffic, Alaska 1123 beginning pushback to
how
runway
steep
8, Juneau traffic.
that final right turn is as we sweep in for the final approach. Very, very cool indeed. Next leg's 4,694 kilos of fuel required. So let's request the fuel truck. And we need 4694. We'll call it 4700. We'll add that into the target, and when the fuel truck arrives and connects itself, it'll be ready to refuel. We'll be able to then fuel it up. So what we will do in the meantime, EA JN for Juneau, EA SI for Sitka, ASA 7005. Via Rodman, RODMN. That is the route. That is mad. That is absolutely insane. How are we doing? Anyone on finals? No. We've got quite a few coming in though.
Juneau traffic, busway 232 is 3.5 miles out from Barlow. Just try and maintain some distance to the traffic ahead. I'll be number 2 in line.
Right. Let's just have a quick look here. There's no departure routing for us. There's the Juneau 6 and the Assault 2 departure, but neither of those are going to be suitable for us. So we're just going to select runway 08 for departure. That is it. Then we're off to Rodman. Oh, we've got one on short finals. Here he comes. Salt approach. Dagga, dagga, dagga. Look at that, that's such a tight turn, isn't it? Quite cool. Lee, hello buddy. Colonel, welcome. Gav, thank you very much mate, really appreciate that. Duffman, so didn't notice anything with the Alaska mesh, interesting. Lots of terrain spikes apparently. And bumps and things on the sceneries. But there is issues with the mesh, across all the mesh actually, because Asobo have changed the way the mesh is created, so they have to remodel it with new LiDAR references. Yeah, abnormalities in the tiles, there we go. But it can then also cause a headache for sceneries and things that you've got installed. So I've just taken it out for now. Big Jack is going, what an approach it is here. It's quite unique, isn't it? Oh, Dan Upstone, I believe, one of our channel members, requested it a very long time ago. That looked wonderfully done. Oh, by the way, because we've got chocks on the aeroplane, it's going to have chocks on their aircraft too, if you're wondering. Great touchdown. That's why he's got chocks there on his aircraft. Our approach is going to take us up towards that mountain. We're going to have to turn right immediately and hand fly into the valley. keeping a visual with everything else going on at the same time. Full info.
Juneau traffic. Alaska 94, 3 miles out of Barlow.
Cool, right. So we can keep programming for the next leg, and we can keep an eye on the nav display here for terrain, for traffic. Go to 10 miles actually, there we go. So we can see the next one inbound at 5. Rodman. We're not sure what arrival it's going to be yet. We'll have to plan for that on the ground here as well in that instance. We need to get our fuel sorted out though, so...
Traffic, Osprey 232 on 5 mile final.
Fuel truck, 4700, let's refuel.
Juneau traffic, Alaska 1123, taxiing via Alpha to runway 8 for takeoff. Juneau traffic.
Next cruise is going to be at 16,000. Let's just set that quickly. $16, and then back out because we've got another one on approach. Here he comes. Weird how that rendered off in the distance there. By the way, folks, the Phoenix A320 Osprey Airways livery is now available on flightsim.to. Just sorting out FS Hub with the active plan. Buden, it's feeling like another 6 is coming. 6 out of 6, right? This is looking good as well. These pro pilots flying for Osprey, it's great. That's looking quite nice. Touchdown marker, can't quite see it. Here he comes. There goes the Alaska taxiing over underneath. Here he goes. That looks really good. It's down.
Juneau traffic, Alaska 7094, 1 mile.
Really good.
1 mile final, short mile.
What?
Runway 8.
Wowzers, got another one. Get dizzy with it. Where is he then? Oh, it's great to hear everybody enjoying it, flying along. Where is he? He's going to pop any second. There he is, 1 mile final.
Osprey 232, clear of runway.
Juneau traffic, Osprey 2.
It's only 82 nautical miles to the next one.
Approximately 10 nautical miles from Juneau. Juneau traffic.
As a setting, disable logging of short, less than 15-minute flights such as quick tests and replays. Yeah, it's going to be over 15 minutes, so that should be fine. Matthew, exactly. And I helped paint the bulkhead. What do you think? Nighthawk, the next flight is to Sitka. So we're going to go Juneau to Sitka. It's 83 nautical miles in total. It's only about 20 or so minutes airborne. Oh, look at that. Beautiful flare. That looked so smooth.
Juneau traffic, Alaska 1123, lining up and waiting, Juneau traffic.
John, that's alright. It had to be firm. Oh, I can see another set of lights coming in the distance there. This is insane. Init, perf init request. Let's pull the data. We're going to stay on the local QNH here. .7 143 at 23 again. Alaska there is rolling hopefully because there's one on very short finals right there.
Juneau traffic, Alaska 1123, departing runway 8, Juneau traffic.
Yeah.
Juneau traffic, Osprey 2472 is on 5 nautical short final for runway 08. Juneau traffic.
Let's leave that, let's do that, let's do that. Cruise altitude 16,000. Execute. Transition altitude's 15. Saying unable to cruise at that altitude. Real one did, but we'll see what happens. Legs, Rodman. Alright, so now we've got to do our N1 page. And while we watch this next touchdown, I'm going to have a quick look to see what the approaches into Sitka are like. Approaches, 3 approaches. What is the weather actually? METAR. Yeah, SI, winds 3408. So that's runway 29, there's no charted approaches for that. Which is fine. There's not even an approach or star for it that's relevant. Another 7.3. Hell yeah. That looked very good. Oh my god, so many of us flying in, it's insane. Right, so what were we doing? On have 11. What is the winds? 8 knots though, that's the problem. 3408.
2472 has cleared the active runway. Sorry for the delay there, guys.
I think it's going to be the hand-flown visual approach runway 29 into... Yikes. Avograph. Right, so this is the only approach here that's possibly applicable to us. Runway unspecified VOR DME via Bjorka at the VOR 2,800 feet, and then it's going to be inbound Isloo Luryi, which is a bit odd because then it's looks like you kind of break off to then sweep in on the approach, which could be quite tricky. But the real aircraft, I mean, we could just do a circling approach. So We could do the RNAV approach here into runway 11 via Cluck, Hessock, and then inbound to via Wegwee, but at Ilwath 1360, LNAV only 1300, so yeah, at Ilwath we'd then break off south to then fly a visual approach into Sitka, sorry. So the METAR at the moment into Sitka is 340 degrees at 8 knots, UCLOUDS 1000, which is at minimums, which could be quite interesting. But there is no other way at the moment of doing it. So what we will do is configure for the RNAV runway 11 approach via Luck, and then we'll do the circling approach, which is down the bottom here, 1300 as minimums, category Cat C aircraft, max 140 knots. We'll do that. Not authorised northeast of the runway, so what we'll do is at Ilwath we'll head south and then fly downwind and round. Centurio, hello buddy, hope you're okay. That's probably the best way of doing it, and then that's now even more difficult than what we initially expected, which was going to be tough anyway. Rodman to Cluck. No, we don't want to do that. Let's just clear that. So we do Cluck there. And what we now want to do is bring in our ACARS via VATS Airplane Toolbox to work out our N1 limits and everything else as well. Oh, there's one on finals. Crikey, where'd they come from? Runway 08. Bring the METAR in for Pagnan. Calculate. Oh, sorry, runway contaminated. Calculate. He's got it. Down. Lovely. Not sure if that was the last one, but we will find out in a second. Just calculating some stuff here. It's going to give us flaps 5 at maximum thrust, 24k. Do climb 1 profile due to terrain, but also to get nice and up.
Yeah, I am the last one.
Perf init page, takeoff, flaps 5, center of gravity. Next page. Right, so .METAR PAJN into out of here is 09087. Whoops. Skid risk. We'll leave that on for some better acceleration outbound. For the initial climb to get clear of terrain. And then on the previous page, there we go, we're going to have these speeds like so. 16,000. 16,000%. Now in the forecast here, what we can do is go into SimBrief. We can have a little look at our winds. I don't think it's going to give us this, is it? Let's have a little look. Wind information. $15,000, 144.23. And 100, so 10,000 feet winds. 153 at 23. That'll do. And the QNH we said was going to be, or the altimeter in Sitka is going to be 2971. Like so. So that's the descent forecast complete. Rodman Cluck straight in then on the approach to runway 11, but actually we're going to break off and fly the circling approach instead. Fix rings then, because we're going to get busy in the cruise. We might as well try and sort out as much as we can as possible on the ground here before we commit to anything. So, Ilwaf is 5 miles. So I'll do a 5-mile fix ring around Sitka, PASI. It's there. Okay, well there's an NDB there actually. Mount Edgecombe NDB at the airfield 414, so we'll do IME. And it is 414, Mount Edgecombe, there we go, beautiful, that's the top one, and we'll go for 5 miles, 10 miles. Down here, we've got to make sure we've got 414 set. In the box. Sitka's NDB as well, 358, we might as well put that in as a backup. 358 just in case we need it. And then the standby box, we want the Bjorka VOR 1138. 1138 actually over here, just in case we're using the NDBs. We'll be using the NDB for ADF1, so we can't really use that one. RNAV approach is looking fine. Yeah, that's got us pretty well covered. We've got to think about a departure out of Juneau though. So Pagnan, let's have a little look. Juneau 6. Just based on an NDB, I won't really bother then in that case. We could use 1099 actually. We're going to go taxi charts. Runway 08 is heading as 085. Just going to set that for now. Catch me in the live chat. The landing I did, I have no idea how I'd nail that one so smooth, says Dylan. Good work. Fix ring's done. Perf init's done. M1's done. 132, 142. V2 plus 10. Let's have a little look here at our checklists then. So we've got a lot of it already done because we've already done a hop already. What we need to make sure actually is APU is on bleed. Good stuff.
Juneau traffic, ready to check.
Readability 5.
Okay, thank you. I have a question. Is runway 8 active?
A-firm.
Okay, thank you.
Isolation valve, AP bleeds, where are we here? Gens, FMC and obtain clearance. So 16,085 for the heading and V2 plus 10 of 142. Takeoff data set, fueling, loading, boarding is complete. Transponder still set 2000. Altimeter
Alaska 66 pushing back facing
is set,
Juneau.
and cruise altitude pressure panel is set at 16,000 in the overhead panel over here. What we then need to do is set our touchdown ratings. Just make sure I've unpinned some of this. It's still got the previous route on Navigraph, so I need to make sure I've got rid of those. Taxi charts, like so, and then Sitka, runway, airport elevation of 27, so landing elevation of 50 feet is absolutely fine in this instance as well. Okay, so then the departure has been briefed. So what we're going to do is, effectively, we're going to take off runway 08. We're going to climb up with a right turn straight away after departure. We're going to hand fly up through the valley as we head up and away. And then we're going to go direct to our first waypoint of Rodman. The aircraft's kind of shown that on the LNAV display there as well.
Gotta go. Thanks for the stream. Have a good one.
Yeah.
See ya.
So head back here.
Landing like that for next time.
There's the fuelers. It's a very dramatic bit of scenery here, isn't it? Look at that. Grab that as another screenshot. The Alaska Air Cargo there is pushing. So, MCP is set. Altimeter is checked. Is it still 2078? Now warnings of vicinity showers. 2978 is still active. And we now need to make sure flight directors go on. Just make sure they're recycled for our departure now. Ground equipment and doors closed and everything needs to get cleared. So let's clear away the fuelers. Release. Bar brake is on and wheel chocks removed. Anti-collision lights go on. Andy, no worries, buddy. Thank you very much. Right, engine start then. Fuel pumps are still on as required. Packs are now off. Ignition mode selector set both. And engine number 2. Round. To get these sounds. Pull our data in for VPilot. David, no worries, buddy. Hope you enjoyed the first one. That's engine 2 started. Engine 1 ground.
Juneau traffic, Alaska 66.
5.4, 150
runway 88
trim.
taxiway. Charlie Alpha Bravo, Juneau.
Trim's very far forwards in this instance now. About there. Ian, thank you, buddy. Have a good one. This is going to be a super busy second sector, folks. The shortest flight I've ever done in the 737 as well. Okay, that's engines 1 and 2 looking good. Gens 1 and 2. Engine bleeds are good. Pax onto auto. Isolation valve set closed. Propedes on. Ice as required. That's all looking good. Gen 1. Quick scout around the rest of it. APU bleed. APU off. Taxi lights on. Pop wing lights on as well for the ice. Might put wing icing on as well. It's obviously a bit icy at the moment. Nighthawk's departing now. Flaps as required, flaps 5. And we're going to do flying controls full and free. Let's have a little look from the outside this time. Elevators, ailerons, and rudders. Engine instruments checked. Let's close that bottom. Let's recall for the warnings. Elevator trim is set and flaps green. Flight directors are on. LNAV and VNAV armed. Auto throttle on, and LNAV won't work because of the situation that we've got with the actual departure. So we're going to go heading select mode instead.
Juneau traffic, Alaska 66 lining up runway 8 Juneau.
Auto throttle set RTO. Make sure ADF1 is tracking. Is it ADF1? You are. We just got a DME. That's fine. Okay, next. Taxi lights, auto brake on, and brakes off. Juneau traffic, Alaska 7005, taxi to Hold Point Bravo, runway 08, via the apron of Bravo.
Juneau traffic, Alaska 66 departing runway 8 via the Juneau 6 departure. Juneau.
Taxi Bravo, holding point 08, via Bravo. Juneau traffic.
This is going to be tough. John, good evening to you over in Australia. Can't get to sleep due to being sick, John. That's not good. Hopefully you feel better soon. But a great excuse to tune in and watch today's live stream. Hope you get much better soon. There goes Nighthawk's departure and the Alaska 737 over there, I think, if I've got the person correct. Let's go on to Bravo 2. Alright, fuel flow, reset rate. Both of those onto continuous. V-speeds are good, MCP nav data, radios are all checked. We kind of know what we're doing as well with the departure today. POS lights need to go to strobe and steady. Gonna line up. Runway turn off lights on, taxi lights off, landing lights on. Transponder set TARA, it already is, and traffic's already set too. Let's arm terrain mode. Juneau traffic, Alaska 7005, lining up runway 08. And runway confirmed, we're 08 for departure. With a visual approach, hand flown into the valley, direct to our first waypoint. And maximum takeoff performance as well. We're going to do proper toga. Flaps 5. Oops. There we go. Let's just settle the nose wheel. Somebody said to me the other day on a comment, you taxi like a drunken sailor. And actually, I can't disagree. They're not wrong. I can be pretty awful at taxiing sometimes. So we got one just departed, so what we'll do is we'll give them a couple of minutes again. We'll get Sky Dolly ready for this second leg. Need to make sure I've got my charts ready. We've got a reference image for runway 29 into Sitka, so we'll have a little look at that. Okay, I think that should be enough spacing. Sergeant Lobster, hello, no, just default. Juneau traffic, Alaska 7005, now taking off on a visual approach, outbound 120 degrees, Juneau traffic, then direct Rodman. That's all good. That's all set. We've got to make sure everything is as we need it for this, because it's going to be hand flown for the first part of the approach, or the takeoff, I should say. What have we got that set to? What's 1138 for? I don't know. Right, anyway. Set 40%, gonna leave the brakes on. Galactical, 100th like, thank you very much. If you haven't already, make sure you do hit the like button down below and subscribe as well. Brakes off. Toga, brush set, roll in. Speeds alive. There goes the flight directors for the VNAV. Rotate. Gear up.
Handling traffic, select 702 taxing to runway 08 via Charlie Alpha Bravo.
Juneau traffic off road 27 Juliet miles, lining up runway 08. Juneau traffic.
I go into this valley here. 120-ish degrees, about that. So let's now go CMDA engage, onto heading mode. And we're now at thrust reduction. Altitude, into the valley, climbing up. Through flaps, traction speeds. Let's see if we can get some nice screenshots very briefly, momentarily, from the outside. Just keep an eye on the aeroplane here as well. We go flaps retracted. Landing gear goes to the off position, auto brake off, and ignitions off. Back to auto, runway turn off lights off, cabin pressure, check it's pressurizing normally, we get a little higher for that first, and we're not going to set standard pressure, but we will go through 10. We'll make sure we're clear of this terrain here. We are. So as we're climbing away,
27 Juliet Mike is rolling runway 08 on the Juneau 6 departure. Juneau traffic.
there's Rodman. Will it take LNAV? It will. Lovely. Beautiful. Look at this climb performance. Proper rocket. This is exactly the reason why I love the 737 so much in MSFS. PMDG have done such a great job with it, and it gives you cause and reason to fly into these incredibly dramatic, very challenging airports with an aircraft that requires you to be actually quite hands-on as well. So yeah, it can be very unforgiving at times. If you make mistakes, it won't necessarily forgive you, and that makes it immensely great fun. Okay, now we're outbound, direct to Rodman. Top of descent is only in about 20 or so miles, so we're going to get up to 16,000 almost, and then from there we're going to be thinking about approach already. So the current METAR is now 2971, so let's just set that on the box. Winds 340 at 8. Runway condition, I'm going to put contaminated again. And it's suggesting auto brake max here. Lap 30. What's the runway length? Only 2,195 meters. Good grief. Looks stunning. Absolutely stunning approach. So we'll go auto brake max. Make sure we've got the landing lights off. Arrival and weather data obtained and set. So final check of the METAR. EASI, and we've got winds 3408, 10 statute miles, few cloud 1000, broken 9000, 11 degrees, dew point 8, 2971 for the altimeter, and that is it. So what's next? Because we're almost at top of descent already. Circle to land minimums, it's going to be category C aircraft for the circle to land south, 1,300. Let's change that. To make sure we've got the correct minimums. There's the airfield already. David's had no issues with the mesh so far. Incredible. There we go. It's going to level off probably quite severely here. Interesting. Instead it's overshot. Oh well. I'm sure it will get itself back down to this in no time. 1300. There's our warning because it has overshot slightly. Right. Descent, arrival weather data set, destination weather set, landing altitude set, radios are set as well. Let's flick this across. 414, now we need 318, right? Let's have a quick look. God, this is busy, isn't it? Very busy. RNAV, LDA, 358, 414. 414 is active in ADF 1. And we want VOR2 active as well, which is not going to be Seven Sisters. We want Yorko 1138, which is that one. .414. ILWAF down to 1300. Let's reset MCP. Done. Let's bring our nav range in here as well. Top of descent coming up in 10 now, and I'm still going through the charts as quick as I can just to make sure I've not missed anything. Altimeter set, minimum set, approach has been briefed, auto brake set max as required. I reckon we could probably do 3 to be fair. Am I picking up FS Realistic Pro? Probably not. It's not something I would necessarily always use. It's just something else to slow down the PC, I think, with all of the stuff that I run at the moment as well. Let's brief them for the approach. So initially flying in via Cluck over here, then Hessock, the initial approach fix, the RNAV runway 11 approach. But we're going to have predominantly a crosswind and a tailwind on this that exceeds the limits. So in this instance, we're going to do a circling approach onto runway 29 instead. So we're going to get to ILWAF, 1,300 feet, which is our minimums here for the category C circle to land at the bottom with 3 statute miles required for visibility and a max speed of 140 knots. From that point, 140 knots suggests we're going to need to be configured as well for the approach with flaps 30 set. We can't go above 15 without the horn going off for gear down, so we'll probably have to set that as well. We're then going to fly south to intercept, to create our own little downwind leg if you like, and we're going to then fly a final approach. What I might do as well is set 2.5 nautical miles. So we're going to have 3 fixed rings around Sitka. Top of descent is coming up. We're going to make sure we've got approach set 131, flap 30. I reckon we can get stopped with flap set auto brake 3, to be honest. But if the calculator says max, we will stick with max. We're holding 260 on the airspeed at the moment, just because I don't want to go much faster than that. And descent speed is the same. Perfect. So we'll go back to VNAV managed speeds as we now commit to our descent into Sitka already. Let's get Navigraph off your screens. There's a lot happening all at once. When do you need to have both autopilots on, Cosmo says. So for ILS approaches, that sort of thing basically. Auto brake is max, that's set. Cabin is looking good, altitude set. That is good. Okay, down we go. Terrain maps on as well, that's important for this. There's a lot of terrain around us. Look at this, such a cool livery, isn't it? Looks great on the 737. Down we go. 122 watching. If you are just tuning in, welcome. We're inbound our second leg, Sitka, for today. Our final hop of today's live stream. Certainly a very technical one, and we're now, due to wind and live weather, going to be doing the circling approach instead. There's no charts for it or anything like that. Hopefully you're all enjoying it. Do hit subscribe if you've not done so already, if you are perhaps joining us for the first time on the channel. It's great to have you on board with us. And also make sure you hit the like button as well if you've not done so already. That's done, that's good. Let's leave that approach page on. We've got VREFs over here as well. HESOC 39.
Traffic.
Ooh. Who's that? Off-scale traffic. It's gone. Let's just recycle that. So go Rodman, direct cluck, then we're into the approach. My god, how fast was this leg, folks? Is it above 15 minutes at least? Hope so. I think it's Nighthawk again. In which case, we will need to slow down a bit more. You know what? We'll leave it. Sure, it'll be fine. Going below 10. Landing lights on. Fuel's good. Through 10,000. And 2971 is the active. We've got the missed approach. Minimum's 1,300. If we do declare a missed approach, by the way, folks, then what we're going to be doing is we're going to head left towards the Bjorka VOR 1138 to then hold. .29 is 296. Just going to set that. Centurio, deal. we're letting this work away in managed descent mode and VNAV. Here we go. Below 10,000 now. We're about to enter the final stages of the approach into Sitka. When the Orbex mesh is fixed, we will have to do another flight into Juneau as well, of course. It would be rude not to. The Salmon 30 Salmon. That's fantastic. Definitely. I'm going to have to Google to find out what it looks like now as well. B737NG SSTD, thanks for subscribing to the channel, welcome. Table, when is it coming to Xbox? Probably around October, November time, hopefully. All well and good. Right, what have we got here? We need to make sure we've got our approach for the RNAV, which we're going to initially fly set, and that's going to be 115 degrees. I'm going to set that now on this. Make sure the collar's on 30. 115 is set. Not gonna lie, this is gonna be quite tricky. Ideally now I think we want 180. So let's get the spoilers, flight detent. Go down to 180. Sitka traffic, Alaska 7005, inbound and passing Cluck, reducing speed 180 knots. The RNAV approach runway 11, followed by the circling approach runway 29er. Sitka traffic. Clayton, cheers buddy. All action today, isn't it? There's a lot going on. There's spoilers deployed. And don't let me forget to fire up Sky Dolly for the replay as well. Do that in just a second. Where's the actual airport? So we'll probably vacate right at the end actually. So let's go auto brake 3. Let's be daring. Flaps 5. Spray 1867 is on approach, runway 11. Clayton, a couple of minutes. Although I've got a few seconds to try and get back on this VNAV path. Lights, good. Let's set Sky Dolly now because I will forget. So record is now active from this point on. We will replay as well. David G, welcome buddy. Hello again. How are you? 39. VNAV path is coming back now with flight detent. So let's retract the ground spot or the speed brake, and we're going to arm it now as well. Yeah. Let's put those on to continuous. Speed brake's armed. Approach mode arm if required. We're just going to do an LNAV RMP approach for now. Glide slope live. It's going to be geared down. Here we go. Sitka is there on that little outcrop of land just on the cursor. It's very cool. What's our missed approach altitudes actually? It's going to be Yorka VOR to 5,000. Good. I've never done this, I've not practiced it or anything like that, so this is going to be seen and done for the first time live. What could possibly go wrong? Oh dear. I love a challenge, but why do I do this to myself? It's a tiny airport, big Jacko. 2970 now for the altitude. The altimeter, thank you, buddy. Look at this. This is absolutely spectacular. Back in the flight deck. Got to go to about 140 knots now. Let's go flaps 10. 95% of the time the active runway in Sitka is 11. This is the only time today it's changed to 29. They obviously heard we were flying in. They wanted to give us a challenge, right? Okay, let's have a look here. Flap inhibit, gear inhibit warnings. Let's go to... let's turn gear inhibit on, see if we can go to flaps 15 and work through. And actually, we'll see if we do terrain inhibit mode as well. Perfect. It does. No, it doesn't. It won't let us do that at all. That's fine. We'll deploy gear in that case. That was just a test to see if it would actually do what I was hoping it would do, but that's fine. Let's go to flaps 30. ILWAF at 140. Shush now. Done. That's good, and we're all set. So we're now configured for final approach with the gear down. We have to because the next phase is to be flown at max of 140 knots, and our approach speed is only 131 plus 5, so 136, which is only 4 below that, so we can't do any more. Approaching minimums. Flaps set for landing, go around altitude needs to be set now. Let's go to 9. No, hold on. Different approach, 5. 5,000. 118 is set on the box. Sitka traffic, Alaska 7005 at ILWAF, breaking off for the circling approach, runway 29er. Will report turning base. Sitka traffic. Heading select mode goes on. Little wiggle. We're 1 degree off, that's fine.
Approaching minimums.
That's all off. And let's turn right. Flight directors, recycle those, heading now 296 is what we want. multitasking. Basically doing the work of two pilots here. Trimming, flying the plane, watching the speed, setting the MCP for the go around, checking our reference points for the airfield, and we're going to head out to about, probably a bit further out here, to about 2 miles. We're going to fly along instead at that. So everything is done. Let's bring that right into 5. There's the runway. Look at that. That looks absolutely spectacular, doesn't it? Fly along just above minimums for now. That's fine as we are there. 140 knots max. That's what we're doing at the moment. Wow. What a spectacular approach. Quick bit of retrim. Go for about 15 degrees on the turn. Slowly coming down.
Sitka traffic, FedEx 702, performing directing to runway 29.
Okay, there's the threshold. That looks like there's some trees at the end of that. Okay, check. Bit of terrain mode for now as well. It's going to start blaring off. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Sitka traffic, Alaska 7005, turning base and final circling approach, runway 29. Sitka traffic. Got him. Speed check. That's fine. That's probably hold that at 61%. N1. Let's keep that rate of descent coming as well, and our turn radius could probably come off a little bit there. That's looking quite nice. Speed check. And altitude still needs to come down a bit. Whoops. Keep the turn coming. 140 knots. Bit back on the throttle. Let's reduce that to now. What do we want? 136. Keep the turn coming. Still 15 degrees. Alaska 7005, short final.
Sink. Too low, terrain. 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 Too low.
It's interesting because we have inhibited it.
Too
That's
low,
fine.
Terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Wow.
Too low, terrain.
Stunning.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Reverse. Green. Decel. On the brakes. 211 foot per minute. That's not bad. I'll take it. There's the end of the runway coming up. We're at 75 knots. 65. And we're going to reverse idle instead. Manual brakes. Wow. That felt pretty epic. Sitka traffic Alaska 7005 is vacating at Alpha to the stands. Have fun. That's tough.
Thank you for the stream. Sitka traffic FedEx 702 downwind, runway 29.
Look at that for scenery backdrop. Remarkable. Bring the flaps up and get rid of the speed brake. Auto brake set RTO. Now what we're going to do is I'm not going to use the APU or anything just yet because we want to get towards the gate. I'll park next to the Osprey over there. And what we will do at that point is just sit with the engines running because we want to replay. So we'll watch everybody come in and land. And then we'll replay our approach and landing as well. 7. Got a rogue ground crew engineer guy. Good. Squish. How cool was that approach?
Sitka traffic FedEx 702 turning base, runway 29.
So we've already got one on the way in now. There's not even any snow here, but look at that. It's absolutely spectacular for an approach, isn't it? We'll go to drone camera, follow mode off. How are we doing on the taxi? Yeah, let's just make it up. He'll get his pension, Matthew. Well, actually, his loved one will get a pension.
702 short final.
Okay, let's just pause here. Oh, wow. Yep, he is short final. Bruden, cheers, buddy. What an approach. There's about 3 or 4 flying along for this one as well, so makes it all the more interesting. Very nice. Massive 767. There is no way that's actually the plane he's in, surely.
Sitka traffic FedEx 702, Bucket runway 29 Airport, Bravo.
How's he going? How do?
Traffic on grade 27 unit Mike and Winco.
Do sky dolly now. Let's stop the recording of that. It's only John left, I believe. Cool. So, where are we? John's on his final approach. Do we go high or do we just go a little bit up like this? That's a nice one, isn't it?
Traffic, for the traffic trying to land at runway 29er, caution possibly debris. I can climb the airplanes on the runway.
How long was that last leg? That's the only sort of query. Got to make sure it is over 15 minutes long, hopefully. FS Hub, let's have a look to make sure we tracked it properly on the FS Hub. Oh, look at that, 27 minutes. Wonderful. So we're going to use Sky Dolly to run the replay. We'll run it all the way through the approach, followed by the break off, and then the circle to land. And then we'll watch it from a drone camera view like this, as well as an extra one. So 2 replays to come. What we'll do, well, the only thing to bear in mind with Sky Dolly is it does not record the states of things like the light switches and the flaps and the ground spoilers with the speed brakes. So we will have to try and do that ourselves whilst it's replaying everything else. It usually will record the throttle positions and therefore the engine output as well, the thrust, but it doesn't always get that right. John's on finals somewhere. He'll be coming in imminently. Badger, but there's some nice trout there. Probably. There he is, there's John. Spotted. At this point he's seen the runway below and thought, shit. It's coming in like a Kandahar special, this. Speed brake deployed, nose down. Aim for the runway. Ah, look at that, he's showing off with a beautiful Osprey 737 livery there. Stunning. Delivering the finest of cargo, including lots of gin and tonic. This is very similar to what our replay is going to look like. That's looking pretty good actually. Looking a bit tight. Oh. It's tough because there are no charts for this. It is literally all just with what you can see. Got time to recover this, I guess. Oh, he's looking quick. He's looking all right. He's looking good. He's looking okay. This is a tough approach, guys. This is a very hard approach. Oh, Oh. There you go. Look, he's got it now. He's got it. Fighting with it. Great job. Oh, fantastic job. Nice flare at the end as well, just to bottom off a nice smooth approach. Look at that. Top job. Great job. Alrighty, it's replay time. So we're going to do, what is it? There's John. We'll do a couple of, let's see, that's going to be quite a good one, isn't it? Or we go for that one. Work out which view's best. I'm going to say that's pretty nice. Right, where is she? Let's get rid of landing rate monitor. We don't want it to replay. Right, let's go to Sky Dolly. Let's hit the replay button. There. Alright, now, what stage are we at? Oh, we're just turning. So you can see it's already cocked up the gear and everything else. Gear's down. Flaps aren't. And neither are the lights. That's fine. God, which one is it? There we go. So we're now breaking away. Holy cow, that is incredible, isn't it? That is, I mean, that's without the Alaska mesh from Orbex. You imagine what it'd be like with it. That is absolutely spectacular. What an approach. It's pretty special, isn't it? That's why I like to do the replays sometimes, because it gives me the opportunity to watch back what we've just done as well. Not only see what it looks like from different views, but also you can actually, the busyness of an approach like this, can't really appreciate the scenery too much. Oh, John. Good work. I don't know if the speed brake is armed. Doc, not today, sadly. Still need to sort out everything for tomorrow as well. Did we decide on a route? Oh, John, awesome. I pinged the members in the lounge, so let's go back up and have a little look at the overall vote. So yeah, tomorrow then, in the 146, it looks like we're going to be doing Ikaria to Lemnos to Thessaloniki with the new MXI scenery. Checking that out for the first time. Then we're going to head off to Mytilene, and then Athens. In the Osprey World Cargo BA 146 200, actually. Oh, that shadow as well. Just there. Look at that. See if I can screen grab that. That's cool. Like chasing the shadow in. Absolutely stunning. You know, if somebody gets me a silhouette of a 737 that we can use, I'll stick it on some merch. Here we go for the touchdown replay from the inside. Hello ground, meet plane. Alright, so from the outside, because that looked pretty nice. Right, from this view, here we go. Where are we? There we are. So, we are there. Any problem now? Yep, thought as much. Is it's buggered up the flap settings again, because Sky Dolly likes to do that. So I quickly reset those, otherwise it's going to make a right hash. I think the lights might be changed as well. Here we go. Yeah, the landing lights, everything have been switched off as well by the looks of it. Little correction there. Nice and stable. Profile looks good from here as well. And in for the flare. Oh, right on the touchdown zone. There we go. The new Sim-Wings Anchorage scenery from Microsoft Flight Simulator. We departed that, really nice. Followed by a flight to Juneau. Very tricky approach there. Hand flown in, followed by this beautiful end for today into Sitka, Alaska. If you want to grab hold of the route, head to our Discord server. It's there as well. If you want to replicate this for yourself, and we definitely need to revisit this when Orbex fix their mesh scenery as well, because it's just absolutely exquisite. Such a great place in the world to fly. Thanks to everybody who flew along for today. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, and don't forget to join us tomorrow for some Greek island hops across Greece in the BA 146-200 with our brand new Osprey World Cargo Retrojet livery painted by the awesome Pade. And as well, for the Fenix A320 users amongst you, have a little look at flightsim.co. Going to put it on the website as well, britishavgeek.com, shortly on the liveries page. We've now got a brand new Fenix A320 Osprey Airways livery painted by Tapsi with an interior and custom lighting too, so go check that out and grab it for your Osprey ops as well. Thank you very much for flying along today. It's been really good fun actually. Great to be back as well after a couple of days away with a little bit of a break, enjoying the new update for the PMDG 737 in MSFS. And I hope to see you all tune in again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe, hit like, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Have a good night.